If you've ever watched shows like Homes Under the Hammer, you'll know the formula. You buy a rundown property, rip out the bathroom, put in a new kitchen, maybe knock through a wall if you're feeling particularly ambitious. Then 6 months later, you sell it on for a tidy profit. Dion Dublin nods approvingly, the credits roll. It looks easy, right? So it's no wonder that a generation of investors has grown up thinking that flipping is the secret formula to making money out of the UK property market. But what if they're wrong? What if daytime TV has been lying to you all this time? We arrange more than £100 million worth of property deals every year. And today I'm going to tell you why flipping is the strategy we steer our clients away from and what we recommend they do instead. So let's get into it. If there's one thing that sounded like the death knell for house flipping, it's stamp duty. In October 2024, things changed, and not in a good way. Overnight, the additional dwelling surcharge went from 3% to 5%. As if that wasn't bad enough, roughly 6 months later, the nil rate threshold dropped from £250,000 back down to £125,000. Combine those two things together, and you're now paying more, sooner on every property that you purchase. To see that kind of impact this has, let's do the maths on a typical flip. Say you buy a property for £200,000. Under the old rules, you'd have paid around £7,500 in stamp duty, and under the new ones, that's jumped to £11,500. That's an extra £4,000 gone before you've even set foot in the property, before a single tile has been laid, before you've even met the builder, let alone fell out with them. Given that the average profit earned on a flipped property is around £22,000, that means you've lost 30% of your margin. Just like that. And that assumes that you got everything else right, that the renovation comes in on time and on budget, that the sale goes through first time, that there are no road bumps. But we all know that's not how it works, don't we? Something always goes wrong. The survey throws up a surprise, the builder disappears for 3 weeks, the buyer pulls out the day before exchange. When your margins are already razor thin, one hiccup turns a profitable flip into a very expensive lesson. I'm not saying this kills flipping for everyone. In areas like the Northeast where prices are lower, there's still margin for error. But in the vast swathes of the country, stamp duty alone is making house flipping borderline impossible. And that's before we talk about renovation costs, because spoiler alert, they've gone up too. At the same time that stamp duty has eaten into the house flippers' profit margins, the cost of actually doing the work in the first place has gone through the roof and stayed there. According to BCIS, the UK's leading independent provider of data for the construction industry, costs are up more than 30% since 2020. That's both materials and labour. So the timber that used to cost you £50 now costs you £65. The electrician who used to charge £200 a day now charges £260. And affordable plasterers, with availability, well, they're as rare as unicorns. Let's do some sums so we know exactly how hard these costs would hit the average house flip. A standard renovation, maybe a new kitchen, new bathroom, maybe some new flooring, that would have cost you about 25 to 30 grand a few years ago. Today, that's more like 32 to 40,000. And that's assuming that everything goes to plan. But since when did anything go to plan? Budget overruns aren't the exception anymore. They're the norm. A recent survey from the Federation of Master Builders found that over 40% of renovation projects exceed their original budget. So the average house flip is now being eaten alive from every angle. Stamp duty is taking a bigger bite on the way in. Renovations are gobbling up even more of the margin. And I haven't even got on to what happens when you try to take out your hard-earned profits. We're talking through a lot of numbers here today, but if you need help running the figures on your next property deal, grab our free £100 million Property Hub toolkit. Whether it's a flip, a buy-to-let, or something else, the toolkit includes everything we use to help our clients achieve life-changing wealth through property investment. You can check it out for yourself in the description below. Let's talk about the bit that really stings, the dreaded T word. Let's assume that you're one of the lucky ones, that you found a great property, the stamp duty surcharge hasn't completely torpedoed your profit margin, and that miraculously nothing went wrong. Maybe your builder turned up on the day he said he would. Maybe you're even under budget. You sell the property, you make a nice little profit. Time to break open the bubbly, right? Well, not exactly. This time, the party pooper is the taxman. You see, HMRC doesn't treat house flipping as a passive investment. It treats it as a trading activity. And unless you're using a limited company, trading profits are subject to income tax, not capital gains tax. That might sound like a small change, but it does add up to make a big difference. How much? Well, capital gains tax on property is 24% at the higher rate. Income tax, however, is 40%, and if you're an additional rate taxpayer, it's as high as 45%. And on top of that, you may also owe Class 4 national insurance, which adds another couple of percentage points to your bill. Let's go back to our example, the £200,000 property that would have once made a nice investment. Say you spent £40,000 on the renovation, then flipped it for £275,000. After stamp duty, legal fees, agent fees, and the renovation itself, your actual profit might be around £20,000. Not bad, right? But then HMRC takes 40% of that. So you're left with just £12,000 for months of work, stress, risk, and 1970s fireplace that you had to rip out by hand. 12 grand. Work out how much time you've put in, and you'd have made a better hourly rate stacking shelves. And nobody ever had an argument about grouting in Tesco. So let's recap. Stamp duty hits you on the way in. Renovation costs squeeze the middle, and the taxman gets you on the way out. Add it all together and your property value needs to go up substantially just to break even for your time. And in a market that's flatter than a pre-assembled IKEA bookcase, that's far from guaranteed. Which is why the next factor is the one that catches most flippers out. Boil it down, and flipping is a timing game. But right now, the clock isn't on your side. You buy when prices are low, renovate quickly, then sell into a rising market. Even a stable market will do it a push. If any part of that timeline slips though, your whole plan unravels. If a buyer falls through, you're holding the property for another 2 months, paying the mortgage, paying the insurance, watching your profit shrink by the day. If interest rates spike, your buyer's mortgage offer changes or disappears entirely, and you're left holding again. Maybe demand softens. When it does, you find yourself cutting your asking price just to get viewings through the door. In today's market, none of that feels inconceivable. Data from Rightmove shows asking prices are 0.5% below where they were a year ago. Over a third of newly listed properties are failing to sell, and we've just seen the biggest June price drop in 14 years. This is not a market that rewards people who are trying to move quickly. This is a market where one wrong move can leave you sitting on your newly refurbished property with no exit in sight. Your flip becomes a liability, and a very expensive one. The whole strategy relies on speed, but the market has slowed to a crawl. So with all of that in mind, is flipping dead? I'm calling it flipping, at the least the way it used to work, is dead. It is no more. I know Dion Dublin would disagree. I know Martin Roberts would have something to say about it. But the numbers don't lie. There's a reason why flipping is at its lowest level in a decade. The combination of higher stamp duty, higher renovation costs, punitive tax treatment, and a flat market has made the maths almost impossible. The conditions that used to make flipping viable, they're not coming back. This isn't a temporary blip. The fundamentals of flipping have changed for good. Can you still find a deal that works? Of course you can. The BBC would have a glaring hole in its mid-morning schedules if you couldn't. But building a long-term strategy around finding those needles in a haystack isn't a business plan anymore. It's a lottery. And the odds are getting longer by the minute. So what can you do? Well, while some investors are still trying to make flipping work in a market that's stacked against them, another group is taking a completely different approach. And it's paying off. So if flipping is dead, what's the alternative? I'll be honest with you, it's not sexy. Nobody's making a TV show about it. In fact, if Dion Dublin stood outside a terraced house in Salford and spent 45 minutes explaining compound growth, you'd change the channel. I would too. What I'm trying to say is that strategy is boring, but it works. There's a growing group of investors buying properties that make money from day one in cities like Manchester, Sheffield, and Birmingham. They're getting yields of 6, 7, and even 8%. Income landing in their account every month. And they're not lifting a finger, just letting the time and compounding do the work. No renovations, no racing to find a buyer, and no arguments about grouting. And here's what's mad. Remember our flipper from earlier? Months of work, thousands in stamp duty, a renovation that went over budget, and a tax bill that swallowed most of the profit, all to walk away with 12 grand. But as a buy-to-let investor in this soft market, you can actually bag a £12,000 discount from a motivated seller. So you make your money when you buy, simply by taking advantage of the market. That's the strategy we're talking about with our clients at Property Hub every single day. Not because it's exciting, because it's working. While flipping concentrates all of your risk into a single transaction, buy-to-let spreads it across time. One bad flip can wipe you out, but one bad month on a buy-to-let is a rounding error. It won't make great television, but it will make you money. And if you'd like to see the deals our clients are snapping up to build their wealth, you'll find a link to the Property Hub Invest in the description. But even if you stay away from flips and follow a far less stressful strategy, buy-to-let isn't bulletproof. Over the years, we've seen investors make the same 3 mistakes over and over again, and every single one was avoidable. We'll show you what they are in our next video. Go and watch it now.